we have a good time over here. We talk a lot of things over here, and we have a good time. And then at some point, debauchery comes, and then it's just all downhill from there.
Cause I rewound I rewound. I said, wait a minute. You got titties.
That's
Satana. Ashley was at home with the two Omen babies, Damien and Damien Jr. Hee ha, Damien 666, devil child. Because when you're the spawn of Beelzebub and Satana, that's what happens. The bearded lady, her mammy Sheila came over. Y'all want to know what the girls are saying? The girls are saying that this was a shoot for his OnlyFans that went awry. They went in there, they did the licky licky sucky sucky, you do me, I do you shit that Brashear do for his OnlyFans, and they filmed it down to the Homewood Suites. And the girls, the internet porn sketch, they'll tell you all the stories. You know, I did a whole video about how Lady G, Lindsey Graham does lines of coke off of the penises of the escorts down to the weekly Republican Party sex parties. You remember they shut down fucking Grindr when they had the RNC convention last summer. Child, listen. You talking blue pills, rhino pills, honey packs, and everything else known to man be rolling all through the streets of DC when they get ready to go to these good sex parties that they have. Y'all could have went and got something to eat. Y'all could have went and did something else with your life. You ain't have to watch. That's what we do. When y'all have y'all all white performances, maybe we go get us a eat. Some people go take them a smoke. Some people go get them a drink. Some people get a quickie in down to the bathroom. When you had somebody's Super Bowl party and you saw somebody cute and you told them to follow you in the bathroom so y'all can have a quickie while you suck them up, they suck you up and you get a quick bust down, all in the 5 minutes that you that the halftime performance happened. Not that I would know anything about having a quick bust down at a Super Bowl party I was invited to. What do y'all want from me? What do y'all want from me? The man ain't shit. His cabinet ain't shit. And all of those acolytes and sycophants that happen to be black, what did you get for all of that ass kissing, for all of that slobbing his knob and hanging from his testicle hairs that y'all did? Y'all ain't get a goddamn thing.
Please listen. This is how we know there is a God that sits on high and looks down low. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me, because I knew that there was a God when I looked on the X, formerly known as the Twitter, and I saw it wasn't no more Sean. I knew there was a God when I looked on the Instagram, and there was no more Krishan. I knew there was a God when I looked on the snap of the chat, the snappity of the chappity, and looked, and there was no Krishan. I knew there was a God when I looked on the Facebook, the book of faces, Mark Zuckerberg's playground, and I saw that there wasn't a Krishan. My God today, let the people say amen.
Hello. Welcome to Run Your Mouth. I am L Teddy 27 here today to give you all of the news and stories and shit that's been going on since you've been out at work and so forth. Um, can y'all go ahead and hit the like button? Do all of the things. Hit the like button. Share the video out. Let the algorithm do what it does. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh, programming note. I apologize up front. No red, blue, and black tonight. I have to travel at like 3 o'clock in the morning. And so when I get off here, I have to pack real fast, run an errand or two, and try to get me a few hours of sleep before I have to get up at like 2 in the morning and travel at like 3. So that's why it's no red, blue, and black. I apologize now in advance, and Cams and I, we will be on a regular schedule, but I just could, and because I know if once we start red, blue, and black, that's gonna take me into the later hours of the night, and I want to try to get a few hours of sleep before I have to get on the road. My doctor says I'm not getting enough sleep, so I need to try to do better about getting more than the 2 to 3 hours of sleep I get a night. So yeah. hmm So that's your programming note. hmm Hold on for a moment. All right. So let me say hey to y'all, and then we can go ahead and get the party started. Y'all want this party started right. Y'all want this party started quickly. Mm. I did that so all of the AKAs that are in the building or watching the replay could get information and get ready to throw up their pinkies and ski wee and all of that stuff. Anyway, let me say hey to y'all, and then we'll be ready to get started. DPG, my love, you are first. It's good to have you here. One of my hall monitors right here in the building. Hey, Carl, how's everything going across the pond? Carl, you got to give us some updates about how y'all are faring over there on the other side of the Atlantic. Hey, Tracy W. Tamra, ma'am, I know you are in your rightful place, front and center, front row, one of my prized pupils. I ain't never got to worry about my girl Tamra. My girl. Hey, Tamra. Hey, Tanya Boo. What's going on? Hey, Janae. Lovely 31 blueprint, looking lovely as ever. How are you, boo? Candace F. What it do today? Candace F say I'm putting this in early. My birthday is on Sunday. Oh Lord. All you Aries. Is that Aries? I think it's Aries. hmm I think that makes you Aries. I think I don't know. It ain't Capricorn, so I don't. I mean, what does it matter? Hey, Mama Bees. Hero, hero. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, crazy homebody girl. Drinks with D. What we drinking today? Hmm. Hey, Lady D. I'm not Harold, and my doctor. When I had my doctor appointment yesterday, my doctor kind of scolded me. She kind of laid into me real bad, and she was like, "You have to get more sleep." She was way more concerned than you like your doctor to be about anything. Like she was like red flag sounding the alarm, like, bruh. So I got to do right, child. Hey, hey, C Golden. Hey, Savon. Hey, Demetria. You say you was made by Aries and a Leo. I was made by an Aquarius and a Pisces. Both my mom and my dad's birthday are both in February. My dad is early February. My mom is late February. Well, we're gonna have to get you up here. We'll get you up here next Friday. I should be in town, and so we may be able to get you up here next week, Friday. hmm Hey, Tracy C. Hey, Ravine. hmm So I think we're ready to get this party started. I believe that we are. If you're ready to go ahead and get started, go ahead and put a Shondo in the chat. Let us know you're ready. hmm Child, I always remember your birthday. You know, Tracy, you know who you share a birthday with. I'm not going to go back down that road. What's going on, Terrence, who serves as our senior war correspondent? I saw that. That is one of the things we have to report on. hmm hmm Yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Well, because I didn't have enough time today to look it up, we don't have a primary season update right for today. Good thing about that is we got some time because our next primary isn't until May. So we do have some time to get into all of the things. And so we'll start back up on that on Monday. All right. I listen, Savon, I think that's what my doctor talking about. She said, she like, bro, you doing a little bit too much. You need to sit your ass down. All right. It looks like we're ready to get started. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary, gender-conforming members of our audience, I bring to you the late great Larry Myers to help us usher in our sugar spike segment.
Oh, God. You see, this is the part that I like. Major sugar spike. So loved the world. I want to fight. That he gave his only begotten son. Major sugar spike. And shall ever believe. Major sugar spike. They shall not perish, but have everlasting life.
Taste the biscuit.
Jesus! I wish somebody help me.
Jesus. Major sugar spikes. So we start off our sugar spike segment. Where you think we'd start? With the war. We are in the middle of a war. And believe it or not, this war is going to get much worse before it gets any better. One of the major, let me give you some updates as I am getting it, and then we'll get into some commentary about Trump and Israel now fighting about things that they're doing in the war. So we talked yesterday about how Israel struck Iran's natural gas field, right? The South Pars gas field, right? And Iran said, I know the fuck you lying. You don't believe that shit. And so they said, oh, that's what we're doing? Bitch, get some. So Iran said, bitch, fuck you and fuck your life. So Iran says, well, you're going to strike me. Well, you're going to strike me, and you're going to strike all of our uh, 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 assets and our way of making money. Oh, you think it's a game? You think it's not real in these streets? Well, we can show you better than we can tell you. So then what happens is Iran says, well, let's get it then, bitch. Bitch, let's get it. And they then start to bomb a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, they say yeah, it's go time. So they bomb oil fields. Let me get all of the exact let me get you all of the exact places. Hold on. So Iran hit a Saudi refinery on the Red Sea. Hold that thought. Put a bookmark in the fact that they bombed an oil refinery in the Red Sea. That's very important. They set Qatari liquefied natural gas facilities, known as the LNG facilities, and two Kuwait oil refineries. They blew them up and hit them. They also caused damage to oil refineries over in Israel. Now, this came in retaliation to what Israel did, right? Oil prices across the globe uh, uh, um, have gone up. We're at about $120 per barrel. Now, Iran also was able to has attacked U.S. fighter jets, and they hit one. Let me see. I don't know if our senior war correspondent wants to come up and add. Let me drop the link. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold. Sorry about that. So that's in case our senior White House correspondent wants to come up and do his corresponding. But last time I checked, this isn't going the way they want it to. Oil prices are skyrocketing. It's so bad. Georgia, the great state of Georgia, has stated that at this point they're making moves to suspend the state gas tax and is likely going to become the first state in the country to suspend fuel taxes after the war in the Middle East sent prices skyrocketing. Mm-hmm. The Georgia lawmakers today approved a 60-day suspension of the state's 33 cent per gallon tax on gas and 37 cents per gallon tax on diesel. And Republican Governor Brian Kemp said he'd sign the bill. Here's a question, Georgia. So y'all, so what y'all? Let me know when you're ready, Terrence. Um, so y'all so easily can drop these gas taxes, right? To make life easier for us, but y'all don't want to do that on a regular basis for us. I'm just saying. Like it seems y'all can do this real easily. Listen, it's 386 right at the gas station right up the street. When I got back in town last Saturday, it had went down to 328. It was at 328. I was like, okay, if it stay at 328, I might can make it. Baby, that thing today says 386 if you need it. The fuck shit. But okay. And now we have our senior war correspondent, Terrence Green, to give us his daily update and commentary with me on the Iraqi war. How are you today, sir?
I'm kind of troubled at what I'm seeing, what is not being reported on, that I know
Mm.
for a fact is actually happening.
And what might that be, sir? Enlighten us,
Okay.
please. Let it all out.
So, for starters, there's no such thing as stealth. It's low observable. F-35 is a low observable aircraft. In order for them to get a shot off on that thing and get it directed to where it's not lucky, they actually were trying to hit it and they actually hit it, that speaks to something. That speaks to what's happening
You
to the
talking about the F
codes.
35?
Yes. That speaks to
Okay.
what might be possibly what other capabilities they may have from Russia or China
And for the
because
people listening, here's what we're talking about. An F 35 fighter jet was forced to make an emergency landing after flying a combat mission over Iran. Captain Tim Hawkins, a spokesperson for the command that oversees the Middle East, said the aircraft landed safely and the pilot was in stable condition. Where did this just go? Dear God, I just lost my. Oh, here it is. Um, Captain Hawkins wouldn't comment on the report about or any other thing about the incident. He just said that it was under investigation. However, Iran state TV, quoting a Revolutionary Guard, said its air defense system hit an F-35 fighter jet, badly damaging the plane. Now, this is a very expensive piece of equipment that costs about $77 million if you need it. Just so you know.
no, keep going.
Um, I think no. That's. I just wanted to give a brief update of what happened with that fighter jet. So they
No,
did
I
hit a.
was talking about the price of the jet itself.
Oh, it's higher than 77 million.
It's
Oh, okay.
about 80, it's about $85 million per copy for that particular variant.
Mm, mm.
So basically, what it seems like happened is if they're not using rocket artillery, if they're just using AAA cannons and guns, they heard something, they saw something, or something happened, something exploded, or something like that, and then they just started shooting wildly into the air. It happens all the time. This is normally how you get lucky hitting a low observable aircraft. I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but during Bosnia and Kosovo, an F 117, one of the first stealth aircraft that the United States produced in mass, was shot down on kind of a lucky trick shot type of situation. It's hard to explain it without knowing the
I'm
whole
going to
air
put our
defense
trusty
works.
map up here again
There
because
we
what I
go.
want to tell you all is Iran basically said, bitch, y'all think it's a game. We are about this life. So
Hmm.
when they bombed Iran's LNG, liquefied
Hmm.
natural gas field, Iran said, all bets are off. And so they started bombing things over here in the Persian Gulf. But what's interesting is, and what I told y'all to put a bookmark on, was the fact that they bombed Iran's oil field over here in the Red Sea. That's a problem because although they're basically shut down the Strait of Hormuz, the Red Sea is a backup plan for Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
And if they've bombed the oil refinery as well as the gas field over here in this area of the Red Sea, that's a problem, a major problem, because now you got to shut down all of the exports basically from Saudi Arabia, which is a huge problem. Here's the other problem Saudi Arabia is going to have. On the other side of the Red Sea, you know who's on the other side of the Red Sea? A whole bunch of people named the Houthis who can't stand Saudi Arabia. And they're looking
Hmm.
for any opportunity they can to fuck Saudi Arabia up. So the fact that
Yep.
Iran is bombing Saudi Arabia's Red Sea coast from the east, and then you got the Houthis to the west waiting for an opportunity to fuck them up too. It's all about to be shut down. And
Yep.
now
And
you're
the Houthis are in the
talking.
south.
I say that again.
Houthis are also in the south.
The Houthis are also down here in the south. All they go all the way to the Horn of Africa, okay?
Yes,
All the
sir.
way down to the Horn of Africa and all the way up this western, uh, 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 the east part of Africa, but the west to the west of Saudi Arabia, and they're waiting. And so now you're talking oil prices that could be upwards of getting close to $200 a barrel, and that's not hyperbole, people. It's not hyperbole.
It's really not. And remember yesterday I was talking about the MEU deployments
Mm-hmm.
and where they were sitting at. All right,
Mm-hmm.
so that MEU that I told you was sitting in the Mediterranean Sea,
Mm-hmm.
they're not in screen yet, but they'll be in position right about the same time as that other MEU that should be coming up and sitting off the Gulf of Oman, right about the same time as that same aircraft carrier is getting to the Med from Norfolk, fully loaded, fully bogged, fully loaded for bear. They are no joke about to try to either take Carg Island and they're going to come in from the Mediterranean side and just fly them straight in on Ospreys, or they're going to come from the Arabian Sea over Oman, over the Emirates, and try to go that way, skimming across the water. It's crazy. They'll try it and they're going to fail. But,
They are.
what they're going to do is they're going to fail and they're going to fail so badly that allies are going to have to come and get us out of this.
Like, I just do not understand. And here's the other part. So now you have Trump and Netanyahu fighting. Hey, everybody coming in. Hey, Sharice. Hey, Spicy Original. Hey, Karen D. So here's what you got going on. I pulled this stuff up because I wanted y'all to be able to see it. So this morning, your president posts this on Truth Social. Let me take the banner down. He says, this is this morning, y'all. Quote, Israel out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East has violently lashed out at a major facility known as South Pars gas field in Iran. A relatively small section of the whole has been hit. The United States knew nothing about this particular attack, and the country of Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it, nor did it have any idea that it was going to happen. Unfortunately, Iran did not know this or any of the pertinent facts pertaining to the South Pars attack and unjustifiably and unfairly attacked a portion of Qatar's LNG gas facility. No more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field unless Iran unwisely decides to attack a very innocent, in this case, Qatar, in which instance the United States of America, with or without the help or consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. I do not want to authorize this level of violence and destruction because of the long term implications that it will have on the future of Iran. But if Qatar's LNG is again attacked, I will not hesitate to do so. Thank you for your attention to this matter, your president. Now, listen, what happens then? Oh, Israel comes right out and said, I know the fuck you lying. You don't believe that shit. Israel immediately came out and said, no, bitch, you gave us the intelligence. We talked to you. We told you what we were about to do. This was not a secret. We coordinated on this shit together. Immediately said that. Then the Wall Street Journal ends up telling what was really happening and why Donald John really put that tweet out. What happened was when Israel attacked the GCC countries wanted no parts of Israel attacking Iran's natural gas because they knew what would happen. Benjamin Netanyahu said, "I'm doing it anyway." He told the United States president and Pete Keg's breath. They denied it. President Trump denies it. Israel says, "No, bitch. Y'all knew about it. We told y'all. We coordinated this together. Don't backpedal and pussy pop now." And now the GCC countries are irate. So this came out from the Wall Street Journal. Arab governments were furious about Israel's attack and the U.S.'s failure to head it off, officials said. They had aggressively lobbied the Trump administration to stop the U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iranian energy infrastructure and now feel a target has been put on their backs. They said America's Arab allies are now fuming that they don't seem to have any influence with the Trump administration despite heavy investments of time and money.
Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised at all. And what's going to happen when the GCC countries give a big middle finger and say, fuck you, take all your fucking bases and get the fuck out of our country?
Yeah. And let me tell you what the impact of that would be. The impact of us losing bases in and around the Middle East area and the Horn of Africa will deeply impact the anti-piracy operations that are happening in and around the Horn of Africa and the Gulf of Aden.
Yep.
If we aren't allowed to have military, like right there off the Horn of Africa in Djibouti, there's
That's
a
right down here,
big
y'all.
U.S. military base. Right, it's got a deep water
Djibouti's right
seaport.
here.
It's got a deep water seaport, and because it's got a deep water seaport, our ships can port there, which means they can take on supplies to go right back to the Middle East without having to transit the Suez Canal by Egypt through the Red Sea and into the Mediterranean to get to Greece to get to some if they're on that side. If we lose footholds in the Middle East, we can't respond to anything over there if a response is warranted. And unless you're just going to fly everything in and try to do what we did the first time we went to Iraq and the second time where you go in kicking the door and you try to set up a quick base. I mean, but that only lasts for so long. Like the financial impact of losing those bases into retrograde, either retrograde or destroy all of that equipment, the buildings, anything that can be used against us. The financial impact of destroying all of that gear would be irreparable.
But these people did not think of it. Oh, Why does this matter? They're about to ask you for another $200 billion. Mind you, we just went up to damn near $1 trillion in defense budget, and now they want an additional $200 billion. Why? Because remember, their air defense stockpiles are dwindling, and they got to make more. But remember, this allegedly wasn't a war, right? Here we are.
The
Here we
second
are.
you start putting warheads on foreheads, it's a war. The second you start shooting and destroying people's property, it's a war. I don't know what like it's an armed conflict. You're just churching up the word war. Like call it what the hell it is. Like this is the stuff that we get enamored about and wrapped around the axle about in Congress when they're saying, "Oh, it's not a war; it's an armed conflict." What the fuck's the difference?
None. No. And no. And so,
GCC country stands for Gulf Coast countries.
yeah. Yeah. GCC is basically the countries in and around the Persian Gulf. Yeah. I'm sorry, Ronald. I probably should have said I'm just throwing out terms like people should know. Now, here's the other issue. So you got this fight between Trump, Netanyahu. Netanyahu is trying to thread the needle and play nice with Trump, right? So he gets in front of a podium and starts speaking, saying that Iran no longer has the capability of producing a nuclear weapon, right? Wh- right? While he's doing that, you know what Iran's doing? Bitch, get some. So as Netanyahu is at the podium trying to say to appease Donald Trump, because remember, that was allegedly one of the reasons for going to war. Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to say that over the glaring sounds of the alarms because Iran is firing off hundreds of missiles at them. Like, bitch, fuck you and fuck your life.
Yeah, Iran got still has a stockpile of its advanced missile that got multiple reentry vehicles. Basically, once it gets up in the air on its descent, it the nose cone pops open. 3 to 7 projectiles come off of that, and they can independently steer themselves as they're coming in. So one missile turns into 7 possible impacts, and they are very hard to hit coming in because they're coming in at terminal velocity. So it's almost impossible to hit them. They in for a long war. They in for they were
Yeah.
absolutely not prepared for this at all, none whatsoever. And anybody who says that they were prepared for this and that they thought this through and they knew that all this was going to happen is full of shit. They are the
And
same people who said that Putin knew exactly what he was doing when he went into Ukraine, a special military operation. It's awesome.
now, mind you, Netanyahu is saying, oh, well, we're going to hold, because they don't have any more nuclear capabilities, we're going to hold off on any further attacks on Iran's giant national gas field that we just talked about in South Pars. Sir, it's too late. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Iran said, bitch, you started it. It's game on now.
Hmm.
US facilities are being bombed all over the Persian Gulf.
Hmm. The Baghdad embassy in the green zone. Basically, the green zone is supposed to be like the safest part
Hmm.
of Baghdad.
Did you see
The
the
Baghdad,
video of
yeah,
the
I
drone
saw.
that they flew in the green zone?
Huh?
There was a
Uh huh.
video of an Iraqi drone filming in the green
Hmm.
zone. Literally, they had a drone flying
It was
around the.
in. It
in
was in the
it was
compound.
in
It was
the
in the
casino.
compound.
I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Hey, Montrez, what's good, bruh? Like,
They're
this is
not as
bad,
behind as
y'all.
they're not as behind us in drone technology as we think they are. And that's another mistake that they made. Um, the other thing is this. Did you hear about this? Allegedly, there's reports of whatever base that Keg's Breath and I think the short dude from Cuba are
Rubio.
living on. Yeah, that guy. I try not to say his name because
There was a drone that they flew into into their air base.
into their
I
base.
saw
There
that
was
too.
another right. Now, they're showing you, hey, we got the capabilities to reach out and touch you whenever. Leave us alone. It it doesn't make sense to me. You can't protect these people from these drone attacks all costs. You just can't. There's way more drones than there are anti-drone technology right now. Like in Ukraine, literally how they're protecting themselves from FPV drones is a camo net. They just put netting all around the daggone vehicle and hope that when it flies in, if it's a little first person drone, they're hoping it flies in, gets hung up in the net, and if it goes kaboom, there's enough space between the netting and the vehicle for it not to cause major impact or major damage. They've gone rudimentary. They've gone to, if we can hear it quick, get a shotgun.
I mean, but the danger with that is all of the dangerous toxic chemicals then would still spread, and now people could, be faced with toxins
Hmm.
in their
Hmm.
bodies. Hey, Brittany Janae,
Hmm.
this is a real thing. Hey, Complex 613. This is not good. And again, there are a couple things that are about to happen. We're about to have boots on the ground. They're going to have thousands of boots on the ground. And I'd say that because these people will not give up. These people, their hubris, their ego, and their idiocy is not going to say, okay, we overplayed our hands. Let's get out of Dodge. No, they're going to continue to go full throttle. I told y'all from the beginning, the nuclear option is on the table. These people are that stupid.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
now you're going to have the lives of American soldiers out there for fuck shit because of stupidity. People are going to get killed. To me, this is our generation's Vietnam War where we're over there and thousands of people are going to be killed for stupid shit in a war that we will never win, but because of our ego and hubris, we just thought that we was just gonna go in there and people were gonna just lay the fuck down and let us just do whatever. That's what
Yep.
happened to LBJ.
Janae's been saying that since like the beginning. When I told her to watch, we're about to strike, she said this is gonna turn into a Vietnam.
That's literally what happened in Vietnam. We have not won a war since World War II.
Let's be
We have
clear,
not
we
won
only
a
war.
war.
Let's be clear, we only won World War II because we committed two war crimes.
Well, then there's that. Yep,
You know what
exactly.
they say, but you know what they say. It's not a war crime the first time.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, we'll be committing
And
another. I mean,
apparently
we've
the
been committing
second
war
time.
crimes. We've been committing war crimes since the top of this administration. But then there's that.
Hmm. Yep, that's why Admiral Halsey retired.
Hmm.
I remember when you talked. We talked about that in ad nauseum. We talked about
We
that.
sure did.
And on the military side, like there was conversations in military chat rooms, like, "Yo, what the f is going on right now?" The Southcom commander left.
And everybody who I talked to said when he left, that was That was the canary in the mine, okay? That was the canary in the mine.
There's a saying that Marine infantry has, right? You don't, if you're gonna hurt people in the in the infantry platoon, you don't take out the guy with the shiny stuff, because that's the only thing stopping the guys who want to ruin everything, just destroy everything. That's the only thing holding them back. You don't touch the medic, because that's the guy that's going to save our life if the worst should happen. And you don't touch the radio operator, because that's the guy that's going to call to get us out of here. Right? E- They've literally been taking the head off of. They've been. They basically took the adult out of the room in Southcom when Halsey left. So now you got a bunch of people running around unqualified to provide the advice that they're providing and make the expert opinion that they're supposed to be qualified to make. And on top of that, you don't have a JAG core to tell you if it's legal or illegal, or to tell you the
But they
ramifications
fired
of
all
what
the
you're supposed to
Jag.
be doing, because the JAGs have either been fired or reassigned to Homeland Security to work immigration cases and perform as immigration judges. It's a hot mess, bro. Like it's a hot goddamn mess. Like the deconfliction, the office that deconflicts civilian targets with military targets, gutted specifically in that area of the world. Like there couldn't be a more perfect storm for fuck shit to happen.
I don't know. Listen, it's just
It's infuriating if
it
you
is. And
if you
meanwhile,
think about it. It is absolutely infuriating.
the other war that's going on in Lebanon, right?
Hmm.
Hezbollah fired like 700 missiles at Israel as well. France then doubles down and says, yeah, we're going to double our humanitarian aid to Lebanon to assist them because you bitches over there in Israel are out of fucking control.
Hmm. Hmm. Now the crazy thing is that we people have been saying for years, for decades, since I've been alive, that Israel was the problem. Israel's the problem over there. Israel's the problem over there. Israel's the problem over there. And as a child growing up in Brooklyn, that we were taught, no, that's not true. Not true. Why? Because we have a very large Jewish population in the city of New York. So we get all their holidays, everything off, everything, right? But then as y'all became older and I started doing my own research, I started realizing, wait a minute, the call coming from inside the house. Like, yeah, y'all got absolutely decimated in World War II as a matter of ethnic cleansing. Absolutely abhorrent. I will never take that away. But what we saw after that was a massive overcorrection and overprotection. Because if you notice that whenever Israel does something where they're going to go do a limited military operation into Gaza or wherever, it's never limited, but it's always mass brutality, right? And then when you look at their settlers that are pushing out into Palestinian lands, they're giving these settlers rifles and uniforms. And if they have to use that rifle, they are instructed to put that uniform on and say this was a military operation and say nothing else to anybody. Call the local commander, let them know what happened, and you'll be absolved. These are the rules happening and being put in place over there right now. It's absolutely disgusting. You can see literally families in not Lebanese, excuse me, Ga- uh, families in Gaza, citizens of Gaza, who were working their lands, having water issues. Oh, they fixed the water issue, and then they go back over there and find out that the Jewish settlers from about a mile that way. came over here and destroyed our water. They destroyed the water source that my family drinks from and it grows our crops to feed my family.
Hmm.
Yeah, I would be trying to knock you off too, homie.
Ravine, is there any silver lining? Not in the immediate future. There's no silver lining in the immediate future. None. Now, Ravine, what have I been saying since January 20th, 2025? If there would ever be a pause or a reason for there not to be free and fair elections in November of 2026 and or November of 2028, what did I say it would be? And everybody says there's no way that could happen. That would be a complete violation of the Constitution. You know how many complete and utter violations of the Constitution we've seen so far?
Mm-hmm.
Again, the failure that we continue to have as a country and as a people goes all the way back to 9/11. It's the failure of imagination because we can never imagine or conceive because we're so fucking arrogant, because we're so narcissistic, because we're so entitled as Americans that we could, no, that could never happen until it does.
Mm-hmm. You're right. And it's literally happening in front of our faces. And to be quite honest with you, bro, I feel bad for our elders who
Hey,
were
Miss Cruiser.
able to see where we were, where we got to, and now they're watching where we're going with utter horror in their face because they're like, "What the fuck did you? What happened? We gave you a perfectly running car, and now the wheels are gone." And perfectly running is a deep stretch, but you get what I'm saying. We gave you a car
I can't
that
believe
had an engine, four wheels, a steering wheel, and all
Mhm.
kind of sort of held together. Yeah, the check engine light has been on, the service transmission light just came on, but now it just stopped working. And what the fuck happened?
It's just like we all had that hoopty, right? And we loved our hoopty. We had that shit running. We buy a new car. You give that hoopty to your little brother or sister or your
Hmm.
little cousin or friend or something. It ain't even a week. The shit don't even ride no more. They like, why you gave me this trash? I don't know how you drove. But you was like, that was my hoopty. It never fell apart on me. I knew exactly what to do to keep this hoopty alive. And you come over here thinking you could just ride it however you want to ride it. And within a day or two, now the shit don't even work no more.
Hmm.
Well, Brittany Janae, there was a resolution, but when we thought the resolution was happening, we found out that it was all staged and a hoax. Because y'all can't make me believe that that was not a hoax in the summer of 2024. I'm just saying
Oh yeah,
that was a whole hoax. That was a
yeah.
whole staged situation, and they started wearing maxi pads and tampon. I mean, and feminine products on their damn ears, raggedy bitches.
Hmm. These are signs of a cult. These are legitimate signs of a cult. You guys aren't in touch with reality anymore. The only resolution that we needed to stop this from happening, America's not ready for. The resolution to stop this from happening would have been putting Madam Vice President in the big seat. That would have solved this entire problem. Like the I'm gonna say something and I need a minute. The hatred for women in this country, and even more so black women in this country and their abilities to lead is absolutely positively abhorrent and disgusting. Say that because who most of us were raised by black women or women in general. The woman ran the house. Your mom ran your house most times because your dad was working. If you had a two-parent household, if you were just a single parent household and it was just your mom was doing everything. Your mom was cooking, cleaning, making sure you got out the house in one piece, right? But Janae said this great the other day, and I'm gonna have to steal this from her because I don't know where she might have gotten it from or whatever. But they're good enough to run your house. They're good enough to raise your kids. They're good enough to build your house. They're good enough to work in your house. They're good enough to work on your house, but they're not good enough to run your country, even though they are typically the most educated and most often the most experienced people in their field because they've had to fight harder to gain that trust and that knowledge expertise because everybody looks at them and says, "Oh, they're just a girl." And that to me is absolutely the sergeant that taught me how to work on helicopters was a woman and could make people look real stupid with a wrench in her hand. And I don't fucking understand it. I'm giving up trying to understand it because the more I think about it, the madder I get because it just doesn't fucking make sense. And anybody who is on board with continuing to beat our heads against the fucking wall and not do something different, please go that way and stay the fuck away from me. Yield back.
Okay. That, ladies and gentlemen, was our senior war correspondent in the form of one Mr. Green, who is providing us expert corresponding on a daily basis, helping me navigate through our war that is continuing to be ongoing in this country. Here we are. Thank you,
We
bro.
are. I think, bro.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Terrence. We thank him. That was our update on the war in the Middle East. We'll bring you more next week. In other sugar spiky news, yeah, y'all give Terrence a shondo in the chat for his expert insight and expertise that he provides over here. You know, you can't find that everybody everywhere. Everybody don't have a senior war and Pentagon and military correspondent to come to give you real time on the spot, real substantive updates, not no conjecture and what you think, real actual lived experience and able to provide expertise. And we thank him for his time. In other sugar spiky news, because there's quite a bit today. Um, so I saw this story and it was alarming. Now, when I read to you what this is about, you're gonna say, "Oh, L Teddy, that doesn't sound that bad," but I'm gonna have to thread the needle for you, okay? I'm gonna have to unpack all of this for you, okay? CBS News, as much as we can count on them to actually be called news anymore, CBS News is reporting that the FBI and IRS are forming a joint initiative to investigate nonprofit organizations over suspected possible links to domestic terrorism. This comes after Attorney General Skank Bondi, Pam Bondi, issued a memo last year ordering law enforcement agencies and federal prosecutors to compile a list of potential, quote, domestic terrorism organizations, end of quote, that promote, quote, extreme viewpoints on immigration, radical gender ideology, and anti American sentiment. End of quote. Now, let me explain to you why this is important. Well, let me give you some more background. A government official told CBS News that the FBI IRS initiative would focus on, quote, exploring potential funding streams at nonprofits that support domestic terrorism or political violence, end of quote. Let me break this down to what this is. This is the fascist takeover. This is the authoritarian dictatorship. They are now sending the FBI and the IRS after any organization. Let me highlight what the types of organizations they're going after. They're going after what they call, quote, domestic terrorism organizations that espouse extreme viewpoints on immigration, radical gender ideology, and anti-American sentiment, end of quote. What that translates to is anything that we disagree with. If we don't agree with your stance on immigration, you are now a domestic terrorism. They just labeled Antifa, which is not an actual organization, they labeled that a domestic terrorist organization, which means that they could just say you're Antifa and now you're a domestic terrorist. Radical gender ideology, that ain't just trans, that ain't just people who are pro-trans. That's also people, that's also could be considered women's organizations. Now, also anti-American sentiments. And American sentiments in 2026 means white male Christian heterosexual. And maybe we add the fifth element, which is rich. So anything against white male Christian heterosexual, maybe we throw the fifth one in as rich, is deemed anti-American sentiment. Now, why do they have the FBI and the IRS? FBI is law enforcement. So if you're deemed a domestic terrorist, now we can have the full strength of the federal government's law enforcement arm on you. They will be tapping your phones. They will be having people arrested. They will concoct all types of federal indictments on members of said nonprofit. Why the IRS? Because they will remove your nonprofit status, your 501c statuses, 501c3s, 501c8s, 501c10s, all of the 501c non-for-profit statuses, all of that gets removed. Who also falls under? They're not going to stop there. You know who else is going to eventually be swept up into this? Religious entities, churches, mosques, and so forth. This is dangerous. Listen, they're not fucking off. They're not fucking off. They're not fucking off. They're coming after non-profits. Again, let me reiterate. They're compiling a list of, quote, potential domestic terrorism organizations that promote extreme viewpoints on immigration, radical gender ideology, and anti-American sentiment. End of quote. Even if you disagree with them on immigration, they will consider that extreme view. If you say, I feel like immigrants should be able to come over here, now they can deem that an extreme viewpoint on immigration. You're now deemed a domestic terrorist. You say, I believe trans lives are important to us. They need to be supported. We need to uplift them. They need to have their place in society along everyone else. That's then deemed radical gender ideology. You could say something as little as, I believe that women should be the head of the household and not men. And we need to have a country that supports that. That could be deemed radical gender ideology. And please don't believe that anything that they, because remember, they said DEI is anti American. You don't believe that anything representing black people is deemed DEI, which then translates to anti American. And you don't think they're going to find a way to deem those any entity promoting black people and promoting the empowerment and support of black people as anti-American, thus making them domestic terrorist organizations? You're dreaming. The setup is already there. Here we are. Here the fuck we are. With the way they will have it, there will never, ever be a summer of 2020 again. Not in our lifetime. Mm-mm. They're setting this up to say never again will you have a summer of 2020. Not in this lifetime. Now, there's a lot of organizations that are nonprofit. There's a lot of people who work for nonprofits. Which could all fall under domestic terrorist organizations. Now, you'll have the full strength of law enforcement on you, and you will lose your non-for-profit status, making you and I wouldn't put it past this administration not only to remove your nonprofit status, meaning you now have to pay taxes. They will do some stupid fuck shit to make the shit retroactive. Just to bankrupt you. This is getting serious. And a story like this is not getting enough traction at all. In more sugar spiky news, our girl Summer Lee, y'all know I love Summer Lee. I love, love, love Summer Lee out of the great state of Pennsylvania. A progressive black woman who stands in the face of MAGA nuts over there in Congress. She's on the House Oversight Committee. Well, Representative James Comer, who's the Republican chair of the House Oversight Committee, called her a bitch. Did. She had some things to say about it.
So I just walked out of a fake deposition, fake hearing with Pam Bondi, where Chairman Comer called me a bitch. So here's what actually happened. We had already subpoenaed her because she has not been in compliance with our subpoena and the Epstein Transparency Act to release the full, complete, unredacted Epstein files. She has been withholding them. She has been obstructing justice since last July. And a couple weeks ago, we finally got bipartisan support to subpoena her, to bring her into our committee to ask questions. Now, today's attempt, sham of a hearing, was your attempt to bypass that. Multiple times we asked her if she would come in and she would talk to our committee on the record, under oath, in the public. She refused to do so. So instead of directing any more questions to her, where she's not under oath, where she can continue to lie to us, I directed my questions to our chairman to see if he would compel her to comply with the subpoena that he signed and that he issued. He could not respond. I asked him if she did not come, if he would hold her in contempt, move with contempt proceedings, like he did with other people who he said did not comply with our subpoenas. And instead of answering this simple question with a yes, of course, he said that I was bitching and that I was wasting his time and that we didn't have to talk about this anymore. So that's where we are. That's why we are trying to move to impeach her. That's why we introduced those articles of impeachment, because it is clear that she has no intention on cooperating with Congress. She has no intention on cooperating with the American people. She is not seeking justice for survivors or anyone else. She is there to run cover for Donald Trump, for his allies, and for herself. And it's time that we get her out of there.
Listen, we got to protect our own. Shout out to our girl Summer Lee. Now, y'all know I love Summer Lee. And Hakeem Jeffries, bitch ass, came out and was like, here's what he said. He said that Representative Comer was, quote, behaving like a malignant buffoon, end of quote. And then he proceeded to praise Summer Lee as, quote, brilliant, hardworking, and compassionate, end of quote. Come here, Hakeem. Bring your stankin' ass here. So now you have all of these superlatives about Summer Lee. Shall I remind you how you, Hakeem Jeffries, Nancy Pelosi, Jim Clyburn, and all of you establishment Dems tried to have Summer Lee primaried when she first ran for Congress? You tried to have her primaried. She won the primary. Then you gave campaign finances to her Republican opponent because you didn't want her in Congress because she was a progressive. Shall I remind you of that? And she still went out there and beat the streets. She still knocked on the doors and was elected to Congress, and you bitches didn't even want her in Congress. And now all of a sudden, kiss my ass, Hakeem Jeffries. These people get on my fucking nerves. You bitches gave money to her Republican opponent in the goddamn race when she ran over there, and that was in 2022. We have not forgotten. The North has not forgotten. And now all of it, I cannot. I cannot. Hey, Miss E. I cannot. Summer Lee, we here with you, girl. Continue to fight the good fight for us, please. Thank you, ma'am. In other news, well, Republicans are, I told y'all what, they're on the floor of the Senate, doing this whole performative, situation with trying to get the SAVE Act passed, which is not going to. However, they ain't fighting with the Dems. Now they're fighting amongst each other. Now MAGA is attacking any Republican senator who says that they're not on board with the SAVE Act. That's what they got going on. So they're going on the floor of the Senate, because I told y'all I was going to watch this stuff and give y'all the recaps and stuff like that, so y'all wouldn't have to watch this fuck shit. So I've been over there, and they are irate with each other. This is a circular firing squad, and that's according to Tom Tillis, who's a Republican senator out of the great state of North Carolina. He said, quote, circular firing squads never end well, end of quote. Now, MAGA nuts in the Senate, they are following their God King's orders and doing everything in their power to, do this performative dance as if there's an Ice Cube's chance of hell of getting this SAVE Act across the finish line. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But they'll do this little dance for their God King. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just wanted you to know. In other news, well, then there's this. The Trump administration said today that it has launched an investigation into 13 states that require state regulated health insurance plan to cover abortions. The probes are the latest in a long-running dispute between the political parties on how to interpret a provision known as the Weldon Amendment that's included in federal spending laws each year. It bars states from discriminating against health entities that don't provide, cover, or refer for abortion. When Democrat Joe Biden was president, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Civil Rights Office said the provision didn't pertain to employers or health care sponsors. The Trump administration said this year that it does. The administration says that potentially that potentially puts states with abortion coverage requirements in violation of the law because they may not allow employers or other healthcare issuers to opt out. It said it was sending out letters to gather more information from those states. So essentially, they are attacking any state, right? Or specifically 13 states that require state regulated health insurance plan to cover abortions. So if you are a state and you have state regulated health insurance plans that cover abortions, you are now under investigation by the Department of Health and Human Services. A mess. Here we are. Here we are. Let's travel over to the great state of Tennessee because Tennessee felt like it's been a couple days and we dare not have you people talk about the great state of Tennessee. Let me tell y'all something. If I were teaching in the classroom still, this story right here would be the reason why I would just throw my hands up and say, yeah, I can't do this no more. Let me read this to you. Tennessee lawmakers Tennessee lawmakers are considering a bill that would bar schools from requiring students to use transgender teachers' preferred pronouns or honorifics. The GOP backed bill under consideration in the state house would stop educators from requiring preferred honorifics and pronouns in the classrooms. Now, if you don't know what honorifics are Ms. or Mr. or Mrs. and things like that. And so just so you know what we're talking about, and we know what pronouns are. Tennessee Representative Aaron Mayberry, a Republican, said he filed the legislation because a transgender instructor at a school in his district asked a student to prefer to them using the title Mix, MX, instead of Mr. He doesn't want pupils or parents facing consequences if they refuse to call him Mix, to call them, I should say, Mix. Now we went over this years ago. If you go back to my old videos of David Makes Man, we broke down the honorifics and some of the other pronouns and things for members of our trans community. And so a lot of non-binary members of our community, they go by Mix MX instead of Ms., Mrs., or Mr. It's Mix MX is their honorific. So instead of calling me Mr. Brown, I would be Mix Brown if I'm non-binary. But now this legislation says you can't force students or parents to call you by you're a grown ass adult. You are a tax-paying citizen of these yet to be United States of America. And you are saying that students get to outwardly disrespect you and say, fuck you. I'm not calling you whatever the fuck you want to be called. I'm calling you whatever the fuck I want to call you. That's what we have going on here. That's essentially what we have going on here. Hey, Lock Queen. Um Representative Mayberry said, quote, the reason I brought it up is there is a teacher in our district that is wanting to be called by the wrong honorific. I think it's important that our education system that we teach objective truth and your biological sex is important is part of that objective truth. So to confuse a child in a classroom or to ask someone in authority to ask a child to call them something that they are not is problematic to me. End of quote. I cannot. Nope, 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 nope. Now, it's one thing which I don't agree with, but it's one thing for you to say to be forcing the students to be called whatever their parents say call them, or even if their parents want you to call them something, you got to call that student whatever their biological gender was. That's one thing. But now we're getting into the realm of grown people, adults, taxpaying ass citizens. And if I'm on my job and I'm telling you these are my pronouns, and you're telling me fuck your pronouns, we will disrespect you, and we will write into law that you must be disrespected. That is, they're essentially writing into law that you must on a daily basis be subjected to disrespect. That's essentially what you're writing into law. That on a daily basis, you have to be subjected to disrespect whether or not you want it. I have no words. This is why we have teacher shortages. In other sugar spiky news, well, on February 20, I'm sorry, February 19th of this year, the Federal Bureau of Prisons issued a policy on the quote management of inmates and gender dysphoria. End of quote. What this essentially is 21st century conversion therapy. That's it. That's all. They have developed an entire program that is now what they're saying is this program is designed for the trans community, where they won't allow the trans community to to get their medical treatments or gender affirming care. They're also forcing them into psychological treatment. So not only are they denying them their medical care and their gender affirming care, they are forcing these prisoners into psychological treatment. It doesn't stop there. They're also saying it's not just the trans community that is being forced to do this. Now they're saying that our Gay men, meaning not trans women, but femme presenting gay men, are now being forced into the same uh, uh, um, psychological treatment programs. Conversion therapy. They're not calling it conversion therapy. Now, but that's what it is, because what it does is the policy mandates a forced tapering and discontinuation uh, um, of their hormone therapy first for trans community. In addition to that, a medically and psychologically dangerous process then enters the fray where they're forced into psychological treatments. The psychological treatments are designed to help, and that guess that they're using that word loosely, the prisoners get over their gender dysphoria. Now, we did a story last year where a federal judge said that they could not continue to do this program. We covered that story last year, where they had to continue to providing prisoners with their gender affirming care. They're not doing it anyway. Here we are in our last sugar spiky story. That woman right there, her name is Madeline Schoon. She's a married high school teacher. Well, here's what we need to know. Miss Schoon, aged 29, was a teacher at Sprague High School, where she allegedly met a 16-year-old. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office confirms she's been charged with suspicion of sexual misconduct with a minor and communicating with a minor for immoral purposes. Ms. Schoon and the 16-year-old spoke to cops this past Monday. She said she had sexually assaulted him and performed oral sex on him. The alleged after-school sexual assaults happened in a large closet in her classroom. That's according to the police statement. Investigators allegedly recovered video of the two entering her classroom well after school hours. The two remained inside her classroom for 45 minutes. Ms. Schoon also allegedly said they kissed and fondled each other's private parts in a closet within the school's gym, as well as in the bushes outside of the high school tennis court after tennis practice. The team reportedly told investigators the sexual abuse started having an adverse impact on his mental health. He allegedly told cops he tried ending things with Miss Schoon, but she would get upset and threaten to kill herself. Alrighty then. It's time for our video breakdown. I have nothing for these people. I have nothing for these people. Um, I have nothing. Uh, I have nothing for these people. Nothing. I have no words for these people. It's time for our video breakdown, y'all. It's time for our video breakdown. Here's our first video breakdown.
And God ain't pleased. Don't try to call for help in English now. Bark for help. Hurt. Go ahead and you better call Paw Patrol. Don't call for our police department. Call Paw Patrol since you want to be a dog.
I guess that identifying as a dog thing ain't quite working out, ma'am, right? I guess that was a bad. I guess that identifying as a dog thing ain't quite working out. You know, it's cute to identify as a dog until you get with the dogs, and it ain't my foolishness. I ain't got nothing to do with it. How is this my foolishness, Tracy W? I ain't got nothing to do with it. I just play the videos, okay? All I do, Tracy W, is play the damn video. This ain't my foolishness. This y'all foolishness. Here's the next video.
Have you ever wondered who the voice actor was behind this voice? Well, now you have a face to the name.
Hi, I'm a voice actor. You've probably heard me somewhere in the world, Bluetooth connected.
And if you call me an ass, make sure to put smart in front of it and instant after it. My way, or the turn left to merge onto the highway.
Alexa, play my favorite playlist.
You sound familiar. Who is this?
I'm Alexa.
No, I'm Alexa.
I said it first.
And those would be the famous people. That was the Adam guy who does all of the AI voices. That was the Bluetooth lady. That was Siri. And that was Alexa. It's good to put faces with names. My thing, I ain't got nothing to do with this. I don't know how I find this stuff. It's just be in my algorithm. I ain't got nothing to do with it.
My butthole hasn't been the same since I started doing anal. And meaning it's blown out and
it's your main hole.
It's my main hole. That's why it's blown out.
Please don't say blown out.
Don't act like you wouldn't worship her butthole and love to do any on her. Don't act like you wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd love to do anies with it.
That's what I'm saying.
Are we calling anal sex any now? Like, I'm trying to. Is that a thing now? Any? Wait, any is what they're calling anal sex now? Any? Wait, I gotta play that again. Any.
My butthole hasn't been the same since I started doing anal. And meaning it's blown out and
it's your main hole.
It's my main hole. That's why it's blown out.
Please don't say blown out.
Don't act like you wouldn't worship her butthole and love to do any on her. Don't act like you wouldn't.
Yeah, I'd love to do anies with it.
That's what I'm saying.
So now it's called anies. I'm just trying to make sure. Any is what it's called, in case you were wondering. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I just play the videos. I don't know how this stuff ends up in my algorithm. Here's the next video.
Oh my God, Mom! I had a computer virus, and I got scared that I had the virus. And when I was getting out of my chair, my pants were slipping, and I was pulling them off and getting back on the chair.
This video doesn't mean a lot to most of you all. But if you're old enough to have been watching porn in and around the early 2000s, I would say around about 20 years ago, anywhere from 05 to about 2010, this video means a lot. Now, fortunately, this ain't my story because I was grown by that time. However, somebody that's around Harold's age, Cam's age, they probably were still a teenager. And if your parents saw Castro and Tiger Tyson, well, your parents would have to know what that was to know what that means. But Castro and Tiger Tyson are gay porn skanks. Tiger Tyson is the top. Castro is the top. And back then, it was a whole world-changing event, at least in the gay world, when Tyson topped Castro, and it became one of the biggest gay porn scenes in history, where everybody wanted to see Castro, whose dick is about this fat and this long and curved, and Tiger Tyson, who also has a big stuff as well, and who is a top's top. See him topping Castro. It was a whole thing back then. But I like the explanation that the child tried to give about why his mama caught him with his pants down, jacking off to look at Uncle Jay. You know what I'm talking about. See, y'all would know the whole Castro Tiger Tyson thing, but it was a whole big thing back in the day. Oh, it was huge back then. Here's our last video breakdown.
Move out the way, fat ass.
That escalated quickly. That escalated really quickly. Why are you pulling your pants down, sir, and bending me over? That escalated quickly. Really quickly. Those were our video breakdowns. I certainly hope you enjoyed. As we swan dive deeper into the dossier out of the sugar spike segment, I don't think any of us was expecting that at all. That escalated pretty damn quickly. So that is the guy from the show 19 and Counting, right? His name is Joseph Duggar. So then there's this. Former reality television star Joseph Duggar is facing child molestation charges in Florida. Almost 5 years after his brother Josh, who also starred in the TLC show 19 Kids and Counting. Comes 5 years after his brother Josh was convicted of downloading child sexual abuse images. Joseph Duggar, 31, was arrested in Arkansas, where he lives, and was awaiting extradition to Florida just earlier today. He is charged with lewd and lascivious behavior toward a child under 12 years old. According to an arrest affidavit from the Bay County Sheriff's Office in Panama City, police officers in Tonatown, Arkansas, on Wednesday contacted deputies in Bay County saying they had interviewed a 14-year-old girl who told them that Duggar had molested her several times during a family trip in Panama City Beach when she was aged 9. That's according to the affidavit. The girl's father confronted Duggar about the abuse this week, and the father said Duggar admitted to it. Police officers, wait, hold on. Let me pause there. Wait. The girl's father confronted this man. The man admitted to doing it, and he's still alive. And y'all didn't have to go pick him up out of the morgue or out of the intensive care unit. I just want to make sure I understand. The father asked him if he did it. He admitted that he did it. And he's still alive. He's not in the ICU. He's not in a burn unit because the father tried to burn him alive. He's not severely and critically wounded. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure. Okay, want to make sure I understand. Um, Police officers in Town had the father call Duggar with the detective on the line, and he again admitted to his actions. That's according to the arrest affidavit. There was no online court docket in Florida for him, so it wasn't known if he had an attorney. Nobody responded immediately to an inquiry made on the Duggar family media request website. Yeah. Now remember, Joseph's brother was convicted on child porn and child sexual abuse video images and stuff. Here we are. Here the fuck we are. In other news, Brandy has entered the chat. So Brandy said, y'all not just going to keep playing with my name. That's what's not going to happen. Here's the statement that Brandy made. She said, quote, in the late 90s, I had a platonic friendship with rapper Shine. In an unfortunate turn of events, that friendship is now being characterized as, quote, we dated, end quote. Unequivocally, we did not. I'm not sure why an untrue narrative about a scope of what was a friendship more than 20 years ago is being reshaped during his current media interviews. People telling their version of my story is why I am releasing my upcoming memoir, Phases. It's time to tell my truth and debunk many of the misnomers that people think they know about my life. Additionally, I rarely release statements and typically ignore stories about me in the headlines, even when they're false. But when I do decide to stand up for myself, I handle things on my own. While I love my brother Ray J, I don't condone or support the messages he's shared on social media and have not asked him to defend me in any form. Phases is available March 31st, 2026, wherever books are sold. End of quote. Now, we watched the interview. If to be fair, Brandy, Shine never said y'all dated. He inferred and implied that y'all fucked, which I tend to believe. I ain't even mad about it. Now, that was Cameron that said that y'all dated. He just implied that y'all fucked. This all sounds like you're just trying to sell your book, Brandy. We're not going to go buy your book, ma'am. I'm sorry. Like you said, you don't even address rumors and stuff about you in the media, even if they're false. So what that tells me is you're only doing it now to sell a book. Is the book going to talk about you being a murderer? She's a murderer. Are we going to talk about that in the book? Are you going to talk about how you put my boy eye out in Immature? Was that Batman or Romeo? One of them, she took the man eye out, the one with the eye patch. You gonna talk about all of that? You gonna talk about how you tried it with Monica and Monica had to bitch slap your ass and fuck you up backstage? Are you gonna talk about all of these things, Brandy? I'm just saying. Ma'am, we don't want it. The man never said y'all dated. I'm just gonna be clear with you. We're not going to go buy your book. Your brother has been a pariah and a menace to society for years now. Go get him cleaned up and make sure you don't drive over to his house. Just call an Uber to get to his house, okay? It was Romeo. Okay, I knew it was one of them. Brandy, man, I don't have nothing for you, Brandy. Okay, I don't have it to do, ma'am. Go with God.
Go with God. Go with God, Crispy.
So apparently, I guess this is the sexual predator episode of Run Your Mouth because all of these damn stories today are dealing with fuck bitches that are sexual predators and that need to be wiped off the face of the earth. Lil Bust Down Boosie is currently facing some incredibly serious allegations. But according to him, there's absolutely zero truth to them. Recently, a woman took to social media to allege that the Louisiana rapper sexually assaulted her when she was just 5 years old. She claims he dated her mother in the early 2000s, describing him as an allegedly, quote, violent person, end of quote. Now, Lil Bust Down has proclaimed his innocence and vows to take legal action against the accuser. He also has asked for help identifying her, even offering fans money for any information they can provide him with. He said, quote, they got this lying ass bitch that gave me fake accusations saying I raped her when she was 5 years old and gave me the worst accusation a man could have in the world. So I'm suing this bitch for defamation of character. I just left the lawyer's office. I need her real name. I've got $1,000 to anybody who's got her real name. I need her brother's real name, her cousin's real name, her mama's real name, her grandpa's real name. I'm about to show this bitch that I'm not to be fucked with. This is some crazy shit. End of quote. Sir, I don't know if it's true or not. However, I'm okay with anything that has you locked up and not out here in the general public. Not anything that locks you up and not have you out here with the rest of society is okay with me. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm perfectly fine with that. Anything that keeps you locked up, I'm okay with. Sir, I don't give a damn. Get away from us. Go with God.
Go with God.
Go with God, Crispy.
Well, in our last story of the day, Ursh and hey Antonia, Ursh and Beaver Kid, apparently they're fighting. So according to TMZ, Ursh and Beaver Kid, that be Justin Bieber, got into it at an Oscars after party hosted by Beyonce and Jay-Z. They said TMZ said they heard people talking about the incident between Usher and Justin Bieber, with some saying that it ended up as a fist fight between the two. Sources connected to Justin tells TMZ Usher came up to Justin at the party with, quote, energy and anger, end of quote. And the two got into a, quote, heated exchange, end of quote. Now, TMZ sources say that there was no physical contact, but it was very intense. Now they said Usher's camp ain't saying nothing. They say Usher people ain't saying a goddamn thing. They are very quiet about it. But that's all of this information that they have right now. They said they're gonna they don't know what the argument was about. But they just wanted y'all to know that they were over there fighting, damn near going to blows. Now, if you recall, we only know who Beaver Kid is because of Ursh. Ursh is the one who introduced us to, well, Beaver Kid was already on YouTube. Ursh gave Beaver Kid his big break, and it went from there. Yeah, I don't care enough about Beaver Kid. I never liked Beaver Kid. Y'all like to embrace these people descended from the Caucasus Mountains. I generally don't be liking these people. Um, why does Usher look like the uncle that tries to pick up his niece at the family? I, that's the dossier. It's over. It's been a lot going on in this dossier today. It's over. Oh man, listen, y'all. Um, I'm going out of town again. Um, I'll be back Monday. Yeah. He did look like Neo on that picture. Maybe because of the hat. Um, listen, y'all, I gotta get y'all over there really because if I don't, Ravine gonna snitch on me and say that I made y'all late. But we'll get y'all over there. There's no problem getting y'all over there. Listen, have y'all enjoyed this week? Have you enjoyed this full week of content that we have gifted to you? If you did, consider supporting the platform. We try to keep the lights on over here. We try to keep the lights on over here. And because we try to keep the lights on over here, you know, a good donation to the platform never hurt nobody. I'm just saying. Oh, you are reformed now? Listen, at duty calls, I'll be having so many things to do. I got to go out of town next weekend, but I don't go out. It's a turnaround trip on that Sunday, so that way I ain't going. Y'all ain't going. I'll be able to do silly Saturday and stuff. So anyway, really, we just went live. So we about to get out of here. I hope y'all, but again, I hope y'all enjoyed this week worth of content. We'll be back next week with another week of content to bring you all of the things. Don't forget the field trip, August 7th through the 10th. Field trip coming up, August 7th through the 10th. Let me put the link to the flyer. The flyer is going to be updated probably next week sometime so that we can have some finalized things for Saturday night and Sunday night. So look out for that. But here's the information for the field trip. There's the flyer with information for the field trip August 7th through the 10th in New York City. All right. That's all I got for y'all. As I always say, I love y'all. I love on y'all. Thank you all for being vocal, present, and active. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for any and all contributions that you make to the channel. They are much obliged and much appreciated. I thank y'all so much for being here with me, rocking with me. Make sure you click the video, click the like button. If you're watching the replay, I've been told to tell you to hype the video. I don't even know what it means to hype a video or how to hype the video, but I'm sure y'all know. So go ahead and hype the video and stuff, get us into the algorithm. We get great information over here. Until next time, that's all I got for y'all. Okay, I will be back next week with a whole new week of programming and stuff for y'all. Anyway, until next time, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out. I love y'all.